Now then, in this short video we're going to take a close look at sleeping bags suitable for the Spine race. It's a race in the UK that takes place in January and it runs up the Pennine Way. It can be brutal, it can be very harsh conditions at that time of year, and because of this the race organisers have insisted on a sleeping bag warm enough at least for 0 degrees centigrade. So I'm going to look at 3 lightweight bags. Of course it is a fast-paced race. Weight is key and pack down size is absolutely vital. There's a real limit on the space in a rucksack, in a racing rucksack, and so the weight and the pack down size are absolutely vitally important. The first bag I want to just look at with you is the M.Degree 250. It's got a typical operating temperature of 0 degrees C, and in fact this down bag, this rating of bag, this warmth of bag, we were asked if we would create this warmth and weight of a bag by a guy in the race a couple of years back, 2 or 3 years back, and he asked us would we be able to put together a bag exactly right for the Spine. So the M.Degree 250 is a 0 degrees centigrade bag. It's incredibly light. It weighs 390 grams for a standard bag with no zips or anything. For a standard size bag, 390 grams, packs down into a small stuff sack, can be compressed into something about that size. So it's a really incredibly lightweight piece of equipment. How have we done it? Well, we've used very lightweight fabrics, 7X, which is a 7 denier fabric, super lightweight on the outer and the same on the inner. We've filled the bag with 1000 fill power down, and 1000 fill power down is the highest quality in the world. It's incredibly expensive, it's pretty rare as well, but it gives us an advantage, and that is that the highest loft you can get comes from this down. And that means you're less to achieve a certain depth of loft, you can use less down, and that plays into the hands of trying to make gear lighter. So 1000 fill power down here is absolutely perfect for us to get the lightest possible and the best possible weight to warmth we can achieve. 1000 fill power down there, that's natural down. It's 100% pure goose. It's not a blend. It's not duck down. It's 100% pure goose, and it's natural down. And we use natural down because they give us the best performance you can get, the highest lofts you can get, and also the greatest longevity of life of the down. Let's just have a look at it. It's a mummy bag. It has a close-fitting design. It's designed to be as efficient as possible, so fit fairly close to you. It's got a fully shaped foot box at the end, extra down in the foot box as usual with a bag, more insulation by the feet. This bag comes as standard without a zip. We make all our bags to order though, so we can put zips in them, but the lightest way is to have no zip. And because of that, it's got quite a large entrance to the hood. You don't need a zip to get into this bag. It's big enough to be able to crawl in and get out of the bag without a zip. We can, of course, we build these bags by hand and to order for you. We can of course put a zip on for you, and we can put zips on the left or the right. If you're a right-handed person, you would normally put your zip on the left, so on the left shoulder, because that's easiest to get to. And we can put in a short zip or a long zip, and indeed we can even put in a racer's zip of a foot vent zip at the bottom, just a short zip, just to allow you to cool the feet. In some races, particularly thick races like the MDS and so on, desert races, where you're doing several days of really harsh terrain, sand and gravel and rocks and so on, the feet take a right pounding. So to have a small foot zip in the side seam at the bottom of the bag is useful, and that's a very, very lightweight zip. It only adds about 10 grams, so it's a really good way just to cool the feet down. Anyway, that's the start point. That's the M.Degree 250. That's the first bag I'd recommend. Now if you want to go warmer, we make an M.Degree 300, and that's rated at -3 degrees. So if you sleep cold or you just want a warmer bag, go to the M.Degree 300. Now this bag is made in 7 denier fabric, 7X, and it's the lightest fabric. We can also make it in a different fabric. I've got an example here. This is an M.Degree bag, and it's been made in hypershell. Now hyper shell is a shelled fabric, in other words it's a proofed fabric, permanently proofed on the underside. You can't see it, it's the side touching the down, but it's had a spray on treatment which makes it waterproof and breathable. Now this bag of course isn't suitable. If you use this fabric, this bag can't be used just anywhere out in the heavy rain, because rain drops, eventually water would get in through the stitch lines, through the little holes. So it's not a fully waterproof system. The fabric's waterproof, but I call it water resistant in real terms, because it's the setup, the place it's being used in, gives you a water resistant shell. Now, why would you look at that? You'd look at that if you're concerned about condensation drips from a tent or a tarp. I mean, tarps get a lot of condensation on them as well, or indeed a bivy bag. If you're using it in one of those basic bivy bags where condensation is a real swine. Old hyper shell, the hyper shell fabric that we've used on here is quite a sensible option. You can see the top of this one is red, the back of it's charcoal. It's all hyper shell, and that elevates the performance of the bag where condensation's a problem. Even in a snow hole, when you cook inside a snow hole, it gets a bit warmer, and the roof often drips and your gear can get drips and so on it. So hyper shell is worth considering, and for the spine race you're considering, it could very well be cold but also damp, so hyper shell is worth specifying. It's an option that we can offer you. Now, so there we go, that's the M.Degree bags, starting at the 250, that's the lightest possible one. The M.Degree 300 is warmer, a little bit heavier. You can go to the M.Degree 400, but that's much heavier, not really designed for the race, it's designed for much lower temperatures. The M.Degree 400 is -9. There's also another bag I'd like to show you, which has been used a lot on the spine. A lot of people have used this bag on the spine, and that's the Minim 400. It's got a typical operating temperature of -5, and it's a super bag. It's been used a great deal in the spine, and there's, again, I'd just like to point out on this bag couple of details. It's a mummy bag, the same as the M.Degree bags. It's the same shape, full foot box, and here I've built this one in ultra shell, a little bit heavier than hyper shell, but it's got the same treatment. It's got a proofing sprayed onto the underside of the fabric. So the Minim 400 is a really good bag. So those are the 3 recommendations for the spine. They're all K series, they're all using 1000 fill power down, and they're all exceptionally light. Okay, cheers.